Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining once again. I want to talk about a video that I heard from former Mayor Eric Adams in his visit to Israel. And he gave a speech that is a intense, scathing warning to the Jewish residents of the city of New York. And he's clearly referencing the incoming new mayor, socialist Mamdani, and the fact that he is a Muslim and a socialist. Now, you combine those two together, and if you have a significant number of New Yorkers who are Jewish, Eric Adams is saying that there is a dangerous combination taking place here. So I'm going to let you guys listen in on some of the audios, maybe like a minute or a minute and a half. Then I'm going to get right into this discussion because I do agree with a lot of what he is saying. And regardless of how people may try to spin this, there is danger on the horizon, in my opinion. So let's get right into this.
It's a full frontal attack on Jewish people, and hate is alive and is well, and social media is contributing to it, as well as the arrogance, and as well as many people who want to pretend as though it does not exist. It does exist, and I'm not going to be part of those who are going to sugarcoat the hatred that we are seeing. The time is now. We must unite together. There are many conversations that's taking place across the entire globe to reclaim their countries and reclaim their communities and families. And I said this before and I'll say it again. If I was a Jewish New Yorker with children, I would be concerned right now. I would be concerned right now. And that's something we should not normalize. And it should not be accepted. And I'm not willing to accept it. And I'm here today to say to you, as I said then, I'm not just the mayor that's leaving office, I'm your brother. And we will continue to stand side by side with you because you were there for our community time and time again, and I'm going to be here for your community. And that's why I'm here today, to send that message. When I started being mayor, I visited Israel, and as I leave office, I wanted to come back and say thank you for your contribution to our city, to our country, and personally to my political career. I became senator, president, and mayor because of the Jewish community. And I thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's what he said there. I'm going to read a little bit, some more of this, and then we're going to get right into this. He then, here's some more things that Eric Adams said. The outgoing mayor described an alarming cultural shift in which anti-Semitism is now socially rewarded. Quote, "It is now cool and hip to be anti-Semitic," Adams said, recounting an encounter with a teenager in Brownsville who called him a Zionist and demanded Israel's destruction despite being unable to locate the country on a map, a worldview absorbed entirely through social media. Absolutely. You can't even find the country on a map, and yet you calling Eric Adams a Zionist. Stupid ignorance. Y'all know I'm going to call people names. I am, because I call them like I see them. I call them like I hear them. You just stupid. You're ignorant, and you need to grow up. Really, dude? Come on, man. I mean, teenager or no teenager. Stop it. Stop it. Stop with the nonsense. He says, quote, "They hijacked our young people," Adams warned. I agree. "Their plan was well executed. Now we need a professional plan to fight back." He said the same trend is accelerating across college campuses, public schools, and online platforms. Adams pointed to protesters, quote, "walking around the country with signs saying queers for Palestine," which is so silly, right? Calling it, quote, "queer" when the only place you can walk around in the Middle East being queer is Israel. They've hijacked the conversation. Adams also argued that the core of the anti-Israel campaign has never been about land or sovereignty. The Free Palestine movement was never about land, he said. It was and is about the destruction and eradication of Jewish people. And let me see if some. So I want to read this part of the article here. Here's something else it says here that's very interesting. Adams has previously called Mamdani's victory, quote, abnormal and evidence that, quote, people are comfortable with being anti-Semitic. During the campaign, Mamdani repeatedly refused to condemn the slogan, quote, globalized the Antifada as anti-Semitic, only reversing himself after sustained backlash, even as he continued to deny Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state and framed himself as a champion of the, quote, Free Palestine movement. Bad combination. Mamdani has faced criticism for years over his affiliations and positions. He co-founded a Students for Justice in Palestine chapter in college, has backed the BDS campaign since 2014, pledged not to visit Israel as mayor, and said he would, quote, exhaust every legal option, end quote, to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he visits New York City, citing international criminal court warrants the U.S. does not recognize. Wow. So, yeah, that's just insane. I want to read something else here. This is very interesting, too. The mayor's warning comes amid a documented surge in anti-Semitic incidents. The Anti-Defamation League reported a 227% increase in anti-Semitic cases nationwide from 2021 to 2023. Now, you can argue, is these really anti-Semitic or what? Or, I'll talk a little bit about that. New York City, home to the largest Jewish population outside Israel. Let me read that again. The mayor's warning comes amid a documented surge in anti-Semitic incidents. The Anti-Defamation League reported a 227% increase in anti-Semitic cases nationwide from 2021 to 2023. New York City, home to the largest Jewish population outside Israel, I didn't know that, recorded nearly 1,000 incidents in 2024 alone, the highest of any U.S. city since tracking began. Wow. That's all I'm going to read right there. I think that this is important to talk about because regardless of how people may feel about the nation of Israel, religious, secular or not, I believe personally, and I'm going to just mention it, the fact that there is a prophetic importance to this. Speaking on the biblical side, there is a prophetic importance to this. The Bible does teach that there will be a persecution initiated against the nation of Israel once again. The book of Revelation talks about that. Okay, it will happen during the 7-year tribulation period. And so there will be a persecution against the Jewish nation again. Now, what I believe personally is that how that is going to be done through incrementation. People are going to have to justify a reason to hate the Jews in order for the man of sin, the Antichrist, yes, I said it, okay, the Antichrist, to be justified in rounding them up and slaughtering them, okay? You have to find justification for it. And what I'm seeing with what in some instances are clear anti-Semitic mindsets is exactly that, a process that's put in place in order to lead up to the eventual persecution of the Jewish people. Now, going back to the anti-Semitic term, I don't like using that term because what that term has ended up doing is it's become a byword to put down anyone who criticizes the nation of Israel in terms of the government and what Netanyahu may be doing that's not proper. And if anyone criticizes them for it, for doing something that may not be proper, that's deemed anti-Semitic. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't support anyone, any nation, any person, any group that is doing something that is morally or spiritually wrong, regardless of who you feel you're connected to. If you're wrong, you're wrong. So I don't support that. So I want to be clear with that. But I don't like using that term anti-Semitic because that term has become so overused it has come to the point where people use it simply for someone criticizing something that a Jewish person or the nation of Israel may be doing that is wrong. Nowhere in the Bible or anywhere that it says it's wrong to criticize the nation of Israel for doing something they shouldn't be doing. That's okay. Now, you can talk about Jewish people on an individual level. You can talk about Jewish people on the national level. That's neither here or there. My point is this. I, to a large extent, agree with former Mayor Eric Adams on this. Now, people can argue, well, he's just doing this for clout or whatever. Okay, man, whatever. I mean, maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know. Okay, he is a politician, and all politicians, to a large extent, let's be realistic, do what they do and say what they say for clout. Let's be honest. There aren't too many politicians that are so humble and nice, and there aren't too many politicians that are humble. They do what they do because they're trying to get votes and recognition. It is what it is. You in politics, that's what you're going to do. Let's keep it 100. But let's be realistic. Let's pay attention to what he's saying. I believe personally that there's some truth to what he's saying, because according to the article, if the largest, I didn't know anything about the city of New York having the largest population of Jews outside of Israel. Are you serious, me? Are you serious? And now you have a man who is about to be placed in office as a mayor who does not support the nation of Israel. And I'd argue he probably hates them. He doesn't recognize them as a nation that has the right to exist. Okay, he's Muslim as well as a socialist. Okay, I mean, come on. What do you think may happen? I don't think that they're going to be persecuted. I'll say that. I don't think he's going to be persecuted, because there's no way that's going to happen. President Trump will slap down on the city of New York like flies on doo-doo. It'll be over like it, man. It ain't gonna happen. But I do feel a sense of danger for the Jews in the city of New York, in the sense that there may be things that Mamdani may set up that may be against the Jews. He may set up laws that make it harder for them to operate in business, harder for them to operate in public. He's certainly not going to be friendly to them. And this is exactly how, and I've said this in previous videos, several of my videos, but it bears repeating here. This is exactly how Adolf Hitler set up the persecution of the Jews in Germany. He didn't just start having them persecuted and hauled off and unalived by the millions out of nowhere. There was a plan of mind control and manipulation and demonization of the Jewish people in Germany in order to justify their being rounded up, pushed out of Germany, put in gas tanks, and all this other kind of crazy demonic stuff. There had to be a process of demonization of the people in order to get, and mind control of the German people in general, in order to get them to accept this idea. Hey, we got to get rid of these Jewish people. We got to get them out of here. Boom. They're evil. They're nothing but vermin and all this kind of other stuff. There had to be a process. And what I fear, or what I wouldn't say fear, but what I'm concerned about in terms of Jewish New Yorkers is that very same spirit that may be initiated when this man is placed in office as the new mayor. He won't be able to persecute them. I know he won't be able to do any of that. But I do believe that he may make it harder for them. He may push for policies that make it harder for them to operate in their business, just like it was in Germany. Same process. He doesn't care anything about these people. And so I think that is a concern. And I think it's something that needs to be looked at. And I pray for the Jewish people in the city of New York that they, look, man, if I was you, I'd pick up and leave. And like Eric Adams says, he's like, if you got children in New York, I feel for you. I'd pick up and leave, man. I'd find somewhere else to go. There's no way. I mean, the city of New York was already going downhill anyway in terms of money and so forth. Now you have this guy coming in. Now, let me say this and start closing. The governor of the city of New York, from what I understand, is not going to allow some of the policies that Mamdani is going to push. She's not going to allow that, okay? In terms of government-owned grocery stores, from what I understand, that's a no-no. Free this and free that. Certain of the programs that he's trying to push she's not going to allow it. Because in order for him to initiate certain ideas and policies, there has to be a vote for that. You have to vote for that. There has to be a vote for them on the city council. Okay, and not only the city council, but you have that. You just can't come out and say, "Hey, I want this. We're going to have this. We're going to have that. We're going to have this." That's not how it operates. That's not how the American system operates. It operates on a system of checks and balances. From what we can understand, from what I can understand now, it still operates on a system of checks and balances. And thank God for that, because even though it has been corrupted and infiltrated, we still have some leverage. Okay, there aren't as much craziness going on as it could, because we have the system of checks and balances. Okay, you have to vote on all of this type of stuff. So a lot of these programs that he's trying to push, he's not going to be able to push, and thank God for that. And I'm hoping that he won't be able to push any anti-Semitic ideas upon the Jewish population in the city of New York. Okay. But I wanted to just mention that because I think that those words were very intensive words, and kind of like in a roundabout way, a warning to the Jewish population in the city of New York. So what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about? Do you agree with former Mayor Eric Adams? Do you believe that the Jewish people in the city of New York may be in danger? You think they may be in danger? I do believe in part they may be. I personally believe in part they may be in danger in terms of the new mayor pushing policies that will hinder Jewish people and make it hard for them to operate. I do believe that, to the point where it may just drive them out if they're not leaving already. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.